It's Ask Ritu. Thanks so much for sending in all your questions across social media. Keep them coming. I love to hear from you. The question that I'd like to answer today goes like this. I come from a culture where we rarely talk about sex and intimacy, especially for women. How can we overcome cultural barriers and be more open? Wow. I hear you because I come from a culture like this too. I come from Indian culture, and in my culture, we rarely openly talk about sex. And you know, this takes me back to my childhood and the Salt and Pepper song, Let's Talk About Sex, Baby. So yes, let's talk about sex, shall we? I think the reason we don't talk about sex is, well, there are two reasons. First of all, we don't talk about it because of sexism and patriarchy. I think us not talking about sex and sexuality and intimacy is a way to hold women down. And secondly, I think we don't talk about it because of fear. In cultures where sex and sexuality is stigmatized, it is really hard to openly talk about sex because we worry about attracting judgment and bias, and so we don't. But let's talk about sex, and let's openly talk about it, because this is the only way to normalize in cultures where sex and intimacy are stigmatized to get over those barriers. And so I think it's really important that we proudly and openly declare that we like sex. So watch this. I love sex. I love being a sexual being. I'm so happy that as a woman, I have explored my sexuality, and intimacy is so important to me. I openly talk about it in safe circles, like among my girlfriends and my friends. I have learned about how to do this and talk openly about my own sexuality and being a sexual person in my romantic relationships with my past partners, and now in my current relationship. I also openly talk about it in the work that I do, because it's a way for us to interrupt sexism and patriarchy. And so the number one way for us to destigmatize social issues and to normalize them in a positive way is to have conversations, and for increasingly more and more of us to be open about it. So I am going to be open with it, with you, as a way to model what this looks like. It's really important that I be open about my sexuality, and that sex is so important to me, and having healthy norms around sex is important to me as a person and for us as a society. And I want you to be able to do this too. And so step one, do it in safe circles, like with your friends and family members that you feel who you can trust. Learn how to do this in romantic relationships with your partners, and then let's all collectively start talking about this more and more so that we can normalize it. Hope this helps. Thanks for sending in your question. I love when your questions come in. Keep them coming across social media. Follow me on social media, and if you already haven't done so, subscribe to my e-newsletter at ritubasine.com. Thanks for watching.